Shivani Wazir Pasrich and I'm with Hitaashee Bakshi, India's #1 women's professional golfer. At the age of 12, she was the junior national champion in the 10 to 13 category, and by the time she was 14, she was All India #1. At 16, she turned pro and she won the Hong Kong Junior Nationals, and she is the only Indian to have won the Thailand LPGA Q School. She's now playing for the European Tour, and who knows where she's going to go, because sky is the limit.
For sure.
Hitaashee, it's been such a privilege to have you with us here at the study school.
Yeah.
So just to say where you started out, because we work with little children here, and you were very young when you started.
Yeah.
So
I started when I was 5 years old, and I started at an army golf course because coincidentally the golf course and my home was right next to each other, and my dad was leaving, he's in army, so he was posting out, and I was a very hyperactive kid like any other 5-year-old would be. And so my mom decided, one of my grandpa's friend suggested my mom that you should try golf if you're trying out sports, because she needed to channelize my energy into something so that she basically, I don't annoy her, so that, and that's how I was introduced to golf.
And your mom says that you played less golf and more with the ducks and the rabbits and made castles in the bunkers?
Yeah, today only in the morning someone told me that, golf is a boring sport. How did you take it up? I was like, that is it. I did not. For the first 6 months, I did not pick it up, but slowly I gathered interest, and that's how I got into it.
And was it your mom who wanted you to do this? Like, how did you go through the times when you were not quite ready to play?
Honestly, I was way too young to actually play a sport which requires such disciplines, so much patience. So my mom just kept on taking me to the golf course, because I personally feel that my mom fell in love into this sport before I fell into this. So she kept on taking me for the first 6 months, and suddenly one day, I guess I wanted to try it out myself, that what is my mom doing? So I left my sandcastle and went to the practice range.
Nice. And your dad was away most of the time?
Yes.
So what was his role in this?
A lot of people say the same thing, but I feel like without his support, without his funding, without his belief that, okay, you guys keep doing what you're doing, I trust your mother, I trust you guys, keep doing, and I'll just keep following your mom. So that's what his role was.
Which competition was that?
Just a state level tournament.
And then he climbed back
again to his station, yeah.
So that's quite incredible. And I'm sure today when you travel, there's a lot of glitz and glamour. But in the early days, how was it to go for tournaments all over the country? And
all thanks to my mom and my coach, because they both worked as a team. My job was to literally show up in a tournament, play the tournament, and try to win it. That was all my job. So everything that is done, even till this day, is by them. I do nothing.
बस मैं इतना ही कहूँगी, आप अपने बच्चे को कहीं पे भी XYZ किसी भी स्पोर्ट्स में डालना चाहते हो, जस्ट यू डिसाइड कि मुझे अपने बच्चे को इस गेम में डालना है, एंड मेक श्योर, बी रिलीजियस कि 1 घंटा, भले वो 4 से 5 हो, 5 से 6 हो, 6 से 7 हो, 7 से 8 हो, विदाउट एनी गैप आपको उसको प्रैक्टिस के लिए जाना ही। भले ही आप उस जगह पे जाओ, घूम के चाय पानी पी के वापस आ जाओ, बट don't take break.
And who's your coach?
Anitya Chansar, he's the head coach of DLF.
Hitaashee, when you go on tour, what is the kind of infrastructure you travel with?
So I only travel with my mom and my caddy. I have a whole team.
That's nice. And tell me, which has been the most fantastic win, and what was the memory around it?
It has to be Hong Kong Junior Championships in 2018-19. That was my first time when I traveled alone without my mum, and I still remember it was the final day, and I was in the leader group, which basically means top 3. And in the early morning, I was standing before they were going to say my name, and I saw my competitor, and she had a mum, she had a dad, she was a local from there, and I went and ran in the bathroom and cried. Oh, I missed my mum so much, because it was just my first time, and all of a sudden, the whole fame was there, all of the media people were there saying, oh, she's going to tee off from India, and I see a local girl standing, and her mum was there, her dad was there, and I felt like this is the world. I think that was the day when I actually felt the real value of my parents. And when I won it, the first call I did was to my mom.
But how did you manage to get your mind together? What was that mantra that you had where you could say, okay, it doesn't matter, she's got local support, she's got her parents, but I'm going to win it?
You know, a funny thing about my mom and my parents were, I don't know about other professional athletes or a normal athlete, but my mother never said to me when I was going to go and play a tournament, go and have fun. She said, jeet ke aana. That is literally all she used to say, and till this day she never says have fun or try to be in the moment. All she says is, Hitaashee, jeet ke aana.
Wow.
That's all I could hear and that's all I did.
Wow, that's a big thing for parents, because personally for me, I always say go have fun.
I mean, it's important to have
But
fun.
my children always say, Mom, we don't want to have fun, we want to win.
Yeah, but my mom was always like, only one sentence, jeet ke aana. That is it.
Something your mom said, she said that you never went to birthday parties, and she thought if you went, then you'd invite people, and then the whole focus on your practice would be destroyed. How do you feel growing up, missing out on all the normal things?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I was a teenager while I was doing something extraordinary. I was still a teenager going through my own emotions, but I was lucky to have some close friends all around me. I was lucky to have my parents who never actually made me feel like I was missing out something. When we were having my birthday, I had my mom, I had my sister, sometimes my dad was there, and that was all I was needed. And if needed, she would actually give me a 1 or 2 day break so that I could feel like, okay, we can just go for a movie today. So she never actually made me feel like I'm missing out something, but definitely I had my emotions as a teenager. I had my ups and downs, but thanks to the people who were with me always, they made me feel like home.
Hitaashee, you have been 2 sisters on a journey. Actually 3, because your mom played golf,
Yeah.
and your sister's been a professional golfer also, and you. Along this journey, I'm sure there have been times when there have been ups and downs.
Yeah.
So your sister's had some terrible injuries for a couple of years.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, yeah, I also did have it, and I still remember this was during the Asian Games trials. I was actually in one of my best forms ever, and I stepped onto the first tee, round 1, and I could not get up. And I literally mean it. I could not get up, and I literally just did this to my sister because she was standing 50 meters away from me, and she knew that something was wrong because I was almost on the verge of crying, and that was just 5 minutes before the round 1 was going to start. And then my sister said, do you want to withdraw? And I was like, no, I don't want to. So I had a back injury, SI joint on my lower back, and I still played the Asian trials, and I came 3rd, which was a waiting list, but I'm so proud of that moment, even though I feel like that was a wrong decision that I take, because one tournament and a lifelong tournament is like a whole different thing. But yeah, I also have been through injuries, but now I am completely safe. I've rehabbed properly, so for a year now I'm injury free.
What about the kind of food you have?
Food, well, my dietitian's there, Dr. Hina, and she completely takes care of it. I do not question her. Whatever she gives, I just eat. That is
No
it.
cheating?
No, I mean, so you know, that's the thing. A lot of people think that professional athletes don't live their life. We do. If I feel like having a chocolate day, I just go and tell her, hey, I want to have a chocolate. What she'll do is she won't say that, hey, don't have it. She'll just say, okay, have a strawberry. You want sweet? We'll have an alternative for it. So we live our life, but in just an alternative way. So that's how we do it.
And being India #1, being ranked number 5 from India in the world, your exposure is huge. So when you travel, what has been the things that have made you feel being Indian is something unique?
I think my culture, the tradition that we Indians come from, is very unique, very authentic, I would say. You know, a lot of people try to copy other people, let's say Western culture a lot. I personally feel like because I was so much into my own culture, in my own tradition, that I never thought about looking into the Western side and be like, oh, I want to play like them. I want to play like me. I want other people to look at me and say, oh, so you know, I have some of my own ways of starting around, and people around the world literally text me and say, hey, that's a new thing that we saw. So that's being me.
What are those ways?
So you know what I do before starting around? I join my hands, close my eyes, and thank the God for the opportunity. And a lot of pictures are there on internet that you can see me doing that. If you do that, I do that in India as well and outside as well. A lot of people in India might feel embarrassed because of it. They feel like, oh, that's a very low-key thing to do, you know. But when you're actually doing it, when you're actually connecting to your own culture, it's just you being you.
So that's the beginning of your round. What are the other tips by Hitaashee?
I would not like to tell my secrets.
Great golfers are those who want to be the greater than they are golfers.
Honestly, I personally always advise when junior golfers come to me is never use earphones. Never use earphones before the rounds. Like a lot of people are like, oh, we're gonna get into the rhythm, we want to do this and that. You know, my coach always says we got 6 senses, use all of them. You're blocking one of your hearing senses if you're using music. You're blocking the vibrations that you can feel when you're putting. So yeah, one of the greatest advice that I always give is do not use music. Do not talk to people before the round because it can influence you sometimes.
And during the round?
I personally don't talk during the round. Not really, until some ruling is needed or just a quick scoring thing is needed. I personally do not like to talk. Because
so you mean if we're playing together, then we can't be social? Only remove it about to hit a shot?
You can be quiet, but at the same time you can be kind and gentle to the other people and let them know that you appreciate their existence. So I try to be kind and I let the other people also know that, hey, I'm gonna zone in now, so I might not talk now. So probably 4 hours later, yes, let's have lunch together. But for these 4 hours, please, let's do our job.
Wow. And Hitaashee, you came to the Study School Sports Day. What were your thoughts? What did you like best?
This was one of the events that's going in the books for me, and I'm gonna have it for a really, really long time in my mind because it was so adorable, number one, to see so many cute little kids running around and actually listening to the instructions that were given. The whole atmosphere is just so nice, so positive, and I love how many parents showed up because parents need to know that when kids see their own parents coming in for an event, even the smallest event, even a birthday party, it means a world to them. Trust me, I have been through it times when my mother could not be there because of some circumstances, but when she was there, it meant the world to me. So I think it was a really great thing that so many parents, grandparents even came, and it was such a great event to be in. It's a huge honor.
Any tips for parents?
You know, this is a question for my mother because I think she's a pro in answering that. But
she had a lot of very valuable things to say. For example, she said, decide on your child doing any sport every day, 45 minutes minimum every day. It could be just playing hopscotch, but 45 minutes of sports is a must. Then she said nutrition. Nutrition is something that one needs to, especially as a parent, consider very seriously because it's a lifelong path you set your child on. And then of course she said the fact that if your child is doing something really well, then that child doesn't have to do everything like everybody else. So Hitaashee, your schooling was not something so rigid.
Yeah, I'm actually passed out from Army Public School, Dholakua, and since I was playing on the national circuit, then at the age of 14, I was part of the Indian team, which basically meant I had to go out and play. I couldn't have the normal schooling done in a way, but thanks to the teachers, thanks to the principal who gave me the opportunity to have this experience, and at the same time I could give exams on my convenience. So I'm really grateful for them.
What are your earliest childhood memories?
Of golf?
Of golf.
I think it's very coincidentally, but I do remember the very first time I picked up my golf club. I still remember there was this one day when I literally hit 8 buckets, which is equivalent to about 400 balls. I just kept hitting, and I think that was the day when I thought that I'm not going to leave the sport for a very, very long time. I still remember that day.
That's beautiful. And what is your earliest childhood memory?
I think the earliest childhood memory of me was in Wellington, in Ooty, where basically my mum was there, my sister was there, I was there, and a couple of society kids were there. We all used to play. That was a very fun time I had in Ooty when I was about 4 years old or something. So that's the earliest.
So what is your favorite set?
Tightliest.
Favorite course?
Sentosa Golf Course, Singapore.
Favorite person to play with?
You?
That's something we have to schedule. Favorite person to be with?
My sister.
That's really magical.
It is.
And biggest worry in the world?
That there will be a day when maybe people would not recognize this sport the way it is and how great it is, and maybe just take it as a leisure sport. Because I've given a lot of people around me have given a lot to this sport, and I think this sport is more than a sport.
What's your biggest professional goal?
To win a gold medal for India in the Olympics. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's been so great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Please continue this relationship with the study school and
sure.
show all our babies what it is to dream
Definitely.
and to achieve those dreams.
Definitely. It was a huge honor to meet you and meet the young future champions probably.